Tennis, anyone?
Tennis. Love it.
Right. Women's Tennis Association finals kicked off in Riyadh on November 2nd, which is pretty exciting.
That's pretty exciting. Yeah. I'll
Grew
tell
up
anyone
in
that'll listen.
Saudi where women barely played
So-
sports, and then I never really caught up.
Let me ask you, do you think that this is like a move to sort of, I mean, because we know about the PIF's investments into sports, but like, is this part of their move to like kind of get people into tennis and as like a health and fitness thing, or like, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So I think one of the things that's cool about the women's tennis being in Riyadh, as much as it's gotten negative press around the world, is that now you have a bunch of people, stars. You know, you have the Tunisian Ons Jabeur coming, you have the Saudi tennis player Al Hagbani playing, which is exciting, right? Like you have these people that other young Saudis can aspire to. I was just saying to you, like, I don't really get a lot of sports because I never was involved in them growing up. And therefore, it's exciting for me to think that young Saudi girls and younger women have the opportunity to be involved in sports and to witness these role models in front of them, because it's going to change society and the culture and people's relationship with sport and fitness. So I do think it's very deliberate and it will take time. I mean, football is football, right? It's or soccer, whatever. You have a huge following globally, and therefore people understand it more. But who played tennis in Saudi growing up? Very few people. And I even tried to kind of like learn, but it was hard to find a place. It was hard to find an instructor. And so I gave up because there wasn't a culture around it. And I think that we have to, again, like my pushback to people who are negative about this is, why are you trying to deprive this young generation of an opportunity to be inspired? And yeah, maybe they're not all coming today and then this first round, but this is the beginning, and hopefully it will inspire a young generation of really aspiring athletes. So I do think it's part of the whole push. It's, and I think it will change lives, actual lives of people inside the country. And that's my response to anybody who's negative about it. So apparently Neymar was there. And so like you're bringing Neymar to bring like the football excitement.
Generate some excitement. Yeah.
Exactly.
Tennis has been on the decline from like a kind of like, I mean, at least from like a ratings and a, kind of the popular sport, at least in the US, has been kind of on the decline for a few decades. The 80s and 90s was sort of the heyday when, the US Open and Wimbledon were like must-see TV. It's not really that as much anymore, but it's still very globally popular. And I mean, look at golf. Golf was significantly on the decline. And then since COVID had a huge renaissance, many people just were like, this is the only thing I can do. So I'm going to go out and start playing golf, and golf is back. Maybe tennis will have a similar thing, perhaps different, like, makeups of leagues, perhaps having the WTA championship in a place like Saudi Arabia over time will give it a new boost. Who knows? But I mean, yeah, I can't really watch tennis, but I used to watch tennis, and so maybe it's back. I don't know. We'll see.
Last week in Saudi, my kids went to a friend's house, and one of them ended up going to the tennis lesson with his friend, and because he's played some tennis here, so it's not like he didn't know anything, but I didn't know his friend played tennis, and I didn't know friends that were playing tennis when I was growing up. So you know what I mean? Like he went on a play date, and instead of just hanging out and playing soccer in the garden, which they did, they also then went to a tennis lesson. So I do think it is taking off, and I think it's exciting. And I think that for young girls, especially who didn't have access to sporting facilities in the past, having the women's tennis finals in Saudi is a really significant event. And it's just, to me, again, it's painting the new future for young women in Saudi Arabia. And I'm excited and happy and optimistic about it. And I think to people who aren't, like, my message is always like, just think about the individuals whose lives are being touched and try and like disengage yourself from all of the noise in the media for a second, because it's not about you. It's about like the exciting things that are happening for young people in the kingdom.